Welcome!
Well, it was already said, but not by me. So, welcome to VG Emporium. Video game music and more, if you please. And I'd like to start by saying a big ol' shout out thank you to my buddy Wade for coming onto the show last week. Though we actually recorded the episode a few weeks before it aired. You know, had to do a little extra editing, makes things sound a little better, and add a few little extra touches in there. And well, suffice to say, I had a blast with you on here, and like I said, I look forward to when you come back to help out in the shop again. So now, probably as you can tell by the title of this episode, we're coming back to a topic that has taken almost 40 episodes to get back to, and that is more shop themes. And if you've been a listen since the beginning, you remember that my second episode was based around shop themes. And if you haven't listened to that one, go give it a listen. I had a pretty fun time making it. I was definitely feeling a lot more comfortable in that second episode, to the point where I pretty much made a downright fool of myself. So the reason why it's taken so long to do a second shop theme this episode is because I was looking for more that had that specific sound, the sound of the Depa Chica, the Kombini, like, the Japanese like convenience stores and like the department store things, like just mall music type stuff. And I was just having a hard time finding it, and so when I finally decided to stop just trying to find it, I actually found a couple tracks that fit that, and so I took a few more that were kind of close, and you get this episode. So going forward, I'm going to be doing probably a few more shop theme episodes more regularly because, well, I've just decided to finally give up on looking for that golden standard. So now getting right into it, the song that welcomed us into the episode was Board Shop from Snowboard Kids on the N64, composed by Isao Kasai and Tomohiko Sato. And yes, this doesn't quite have that sound I was looking for, but it does kind of have like this kind of compressed, kind of reverby sound that you would hear in a shopping mall, especially that snare that comes in and the percussion that's in the background there. Now, being a kiddo that didn't own an N64, I did play it at friends' houses, and but this is one of the games I didn't actually get to play. I did have Cool Borders 2 on the PS1 though, and that I'd imagine, is pretty close, except, cool, like Snowboard Kids is a little bit more cartoony looking, whereas Cool Borders 2 is a lot more cooler, more like, teen extreme looking. So now let me give you a rundown on our composers here. So Isao Kasai started out doing sound for Space Gun, and then the next game would be Snowboard Kids, would go on to do Snowboard Kids 2, Bomberman Kart, Full Metal Alchemist and the Broken Angel, Bomberman Land Series, Bomberman Kart DX, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Naruto Shippuden, Legends, Akatsuki Rising, and then a lot more Naruto games, Final Fantasy Explorers, and last audio credit was Moko Moko Friends in 2015. And then Tomohiko Sato pretty much worked on the same games as Isao Kasai, excepting one being R-Types in 1998, being the movie sound composer. And then he would actually go on to doing production for a lot of the Mario and Sonic Olympic games that Isao composed for. So now moving on to our next song. This one is actually perfectly in line with what I was looking for. This is Shop Theme from SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters DS, composed by Masashi Sugiyama and Kazuyuki Fujita. Far Too Short Delight was Shop Theme from SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters DS, composed by Masashi Sugiyama and Kazuyuki Fujita. And yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. It's pretty close to, Tomato Mart from Shenmue, but, nothing can top Tomato Mart. And yes, the song is far too short, so that's why I played it 3 times. And in all honesty, this one just kind of fell on me as soon as I stopped trying to actually actively look for songs that were kind of fit this sound. So if I did a top tracks thing at the end of each episode, this definitely would be the top one for this one. So now a bit about this SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters. I actually remember playing both 1 and 2 emulated. Well, actually 1 because I don't think at the time there was an English patch for 2 via Neo Geo Pocket emulator, and it was actually pretty fun. Surprisingly, for some reason, card games turned into video games based off of trading card games actually turn out to be really good. Case in point, the Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy, the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game I played on the Game Boy Advance, the one on the PS1. No, thank you. That one's a little too weird, but yeah, the Game Boy Game Boy Advance ones are pretty good, and then the Neo Geo Pocket, Capcom versus SNK card games are actually pretty fun. And this one I never got to play it because, of course, I didn't have a DS, and I think I might have tried to emulate it once, and I kind of lost interest in it. Something just didn't feel quite right. Didn't feel like those first, that first one I played on the Neo Geo Pocket emulator. But I'll definitely need to give this OST a second go. I've been trying to dig more into DS stuff because, that's a huge library I just totally missed out on because, like I said, I never had a DS. So now it's to the composers who are responsible for this most delightful tune. To start, Masashi Sugiyama got started doing Play Stadium 3 on the PS1, then would go on to do Power League, then Dragon Valor, Rescue Shot, Smash Court 3, Dance Dance Revolution GB2 and 3 on the Game Boy Color, Smash Court Tennis Pro Tournament 2, Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube. He helped out with We Love Katamari on the PS2, Picross on the DS, Super Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii, Unsolved Crimes on the Nintendo DS, a couple of Bakugan games, Transformers Prime, the game, Gal Metal, and most recently, Pac-Man Museum Plus as the sound producer. And then Kazuyuki Fujita would get his start doing music for this game, would go on to work on a few of the games that actually Masashi had worked on, excepting, 250 Manin no Kenken Premium, Zenkyu Zen, Kanji Kenzen Sei, and The Munchables. And last game is Bakugan Defenders of the Core in 2010, so a very short list of games that he's composed for. So yeah, definitely could handle listening to this song on repeat in a supermarket or a konbini. And yeah, it's kind of makes me think of Book Off Heart Off, which is a chain of stores in Japan that is primarily like used stuff, so it's like basically a thrift store of a kind, and it has this theme playing on its speakers 24/7. It's just the same one. If you want to go look it up on YouTube, it's a Book Off Heart Off theme. It's really, really, really enjoyable. So next in line for our shop hop in here is Item Shop from Rants 4 Kyodan no Isan, composed by Dragon Attack. And that was Item Shop from Rants 4 Kyodan no Isan, composed by Dragon Attack. And yeah, this is a little bit more action-packed, a little more action-oriented, but, I imagine if you could just slow it down, actually transcribe it to something a little bit more cheesier sounding, like, some MIDI sounds and some of, like, the, actual instruments and stuff. And, yeah, I could see it being a nice little Depa Chica tune that you would just listen to while you're kind of looking around and grazing at samples. Maybe snacking on some nice warm reba or hatsu yakitori. Look it up if you want to know what that is. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'm going to tell you anyway. Reba is chicken liver, hatsu is chicken heart, and it's basically just on skewers and marinated in teriyaki and, cooked really nice and warm, and it's just really good flavor. Hey, I'm a weirdo. What can I say? I like my organ meats. Now, another little side tangent here, talking about some of my experiences in Japan was I was walking around Osaka in Denden Town, which is kind of like the equivalent of Akihabara in Tokyo. And I walked to this one shop, and it's just general like electronics, like components and stuff like that. And then there's this one section, it's just a wall dedicated to this thing called Gimmick, which was a board that you could stick a sound chip onto. Like, it had a slot. The sound chips would be fitted in this special thing that you could slot into it, and you could play music through it real time. So like any CPC, like the YM2203 or YM2610, 08, whatever. And what they had playing when I saw it in the wild was a song from this game called Defense Corps, and I was just like, holy crap, because I had been looking at it, reading about it, wanting to get it, and I was not expecting it to see it like in the wild like this. And they had it like all displayed with all the different chips that you could have expand it with, having Neko Player 2 like running the VGM through the board, or I should say the sound chip, this case the YM2608 that was on the board. And I do plan on doing an episode dedicated to my 1-month trip to Japan in 2015, because there was a lot of VGM I discovered and listened to while I was there, so keep an eye out for that one. So now Dragon Attack. The only name I could find is Ikazuchi Maru. I don't know if that's the real name or if it's another alias. VGMDB says it's an alias, but yeah. They compose music for Alice Soft, primarily the Rants series, so Rants 2, 3, 4, 4.1, and .2, which were expansions on Rants 4, and then primarily been like a Doujin indie game composer. So like some of the ones I can name off are Apple Pie, Grand Blue, Preview, Alice at 2 a.m. Game Music, Battlemania X, which is an album on here. A lot of Alice Prism, that is 1 through 6, which are just arrangement albums, I'm guessing, of music made by Alice Soft. This one kind of caught my eye, Hoochie Coo! And yeah, just a lot of arrangement albums as well. And yeah, I tried to do a little bit more deeper research into Dragon Attack, but kept ending up with Queen, like just results of Queen, which I guess is Dragon Attack was a tribute album to Queen or something. I don't know. I don't like Queen. I'll say that right here. Dislike me as much as you want for saying that. I don't like Queen. It's they're up there alongside the Eagles, Santana. There's a few others out there, but yeah, those three I just can't do. And this has nothing to do with shop music, though you will hear those three in stores playing in the radios, but that's not good shop music. No, but what is good shop music is what I got coming up next for you, and it's called Buy Something from Shantae Risky's Revenge, composed by Jake Kaufman, aka Vert. And that jazzy little samba was Buy Something from Shantae Risky's Revenge, composed by Jake Kaufman, aka Vert. And yes, this most definitely is good shop music. Again, not quite that sound I'm looking for, but hey, it'll do. And you definitely can't go wrong with Vert. Now, believe it or not, I actually have played this game on the iOS version, because it was shortly after I had gotten my iPhone. One of the first apps I downloaded was Modizer, so I could listen to all my video game music via BGM format, or all my .mods, ITs, modules and everything. But one of the second ones I downloaded was Shantae Risky's Revenge, and it ran surprisingly well on my phone. I was kind of surprised that this cool-looking 2D game with really awesome music was such a fun thing to play on my phone. So what is Shantae's Risky's Revenge? Well, it's the second game in the Shantae series, made by Way Forward. And essentially in this one, Risky has just come back to exact her revenge after you beat her in the first game. And you just go through and explore levels or stages, kind of like, the word Metroidvania, but, maybe action explorer adventure thing. I don't know what to call it, but except for a really, really good game. And of course you have the town, then you go through the field, and then into swampy forest, desert thing, and revisiting some of the stages that were in the first game, and rearrangements of those themes. And so circling back to this song, this is the item shop theme, and it plays of course when you go to the item shop, and it's just this cool looking place. It has this giant shark / weirdo fish thing skeleton hanging in the thing, and you just buy items from the guy. You can get attacks like Spitfire or Spike Ball, potions to heal yourself, and various other things that the inventory kind of grows as you play through the game, I think. All the while, this jazzy samba music is playing in the background, though it does have little touches of that kitschy kind of 50s, 60s music, kind of shopping, kind of I don't know how to explain it, kind of shopping commercial music or something like that. And of course, that random, just discordant strum at the end, the loop back into it. So now I don't really think I need to talk about old Jay Kaufman here because I did a whole thing on him on the Masters of VGM back in June, as I mentioned a couple episodes back. But, quick rundown, he got to start doing Game Boy Color stuff. Shantae being his first big break, would go on to do, many games like Switch Force, and then Shovel Knight, which is his, next biggest one that people are like, whoa, paying attention to this guy. And did Contra 4, a few things before that, and then most recently did release Shovel Knight Dig, and he is currently working on Mina the Hollower with some guest tracks from Yuzo Koshiro, which is really cool. And you know what else is really cool? This next shop theme I got for you, or should I say shop BGM by Atun. That was Shop BGM, an original composition by Atun. And on their SoundCloud, I don't know if this is related to a game that they may have been making music for, or if it's just like a naming scheme they went with, because all the songs they have on their account so far are listed with numbers. So this one is actually 00 Shop BGM. Probably one possibility is that it's a mock-up OST for a shoot 'em up, a shmup, because their little profile icon is a kind of like a 16-bit little spacecraft thing, like a vertical shooter. And unfortunately, they only have maybe 8 or 9 songs on their account right now, and they're all kind of the same vein. And I'm only one of 19 followers that are following them, and they haven't made much music since probably a few years after doing all this stuff. But as far as what this sounds like it was made with, it sounds like it's OPL3, kind of like the YMF 262 TWAP FM sound chip. So this song is actually one of the first ones I set aside for this episode because, I really like it. It's, nice, fun, bouncy. You can definitely see it in a nice little shop. Buying all your parts for your craft, for your ship to go around and shmup about better. Why, yes, indeed. Coming to Atun Shop to up your shmup today. But in all seriousness, I would say you go check this guy's stuff out. I'm going to be linking their SoundCloud in the show notes. They only have 10 songs on there, but they're all really good. They're really, really nice to listen to. And now coming up to the second song that helped kind of get this episode going is Parts Shop from Suitoku Battle Racing 2, composed by BPS Sound Team. And that delightfully groovy tune was Part Shop from Suyotoku Battle Racing 2 by BPS Sound Team. And if this was a little more softer on the percussion, maybe like if the snare was just a little lighter and a little more slowed down, again, this would be a really nice Depa Chica Konbini song. But I understand this has to be a little more action-oriented because you're buying parts for your battle car to do battle racing. Racing battle cars against other cars of battling. Now, BPS Sound Team, well, obviously is the sound team for the company called BPS, most famous for creating many Tetris and Bomb Bliss games on the on the Super Famicom. And so, what does BPS stand for? Bulletproof software. And a lot of the music that their sound team has made is most definitely bulletproof. And you want proof? Like I said, check out all their Super Famicom Tetris music. It's all really, really good. And unfortunately, we're getting down to our last shop theme here. This is OMISE, or Omise, which means shop, from Super Highlight, composed by Shigeru Tomita. And that was OMISE, Omise, Shop, from Super Highlight, composed by Shigeru Tomita. And it was only a matter of time before another song from Super Highlight made its way back onto this show, because this has definitely become one of my favorite soundtracks on the Mega Drive / Genesis. And if you remember, I had brought it up on my who composed this episode, comparing it, putting it up alongside Ninja Gaiden, the unreleased Ninja Gaiden game for the Mega Drive. And, Shigeru Tomita was definitely one, if not the composer for that game. And, because of the similar styles, like the patches, and especially that PS3 percussion. Oh, I love that percussion. I don't know. It's just something about it. I love it. It's so good. And this is another one of those songs where it's just so good, but too short, so I had to play it 3 times. And it's just so sweet and smooth, though that lead does get a little high-pitched. It's just that those backing chords and the bass are just... I get that. Feel that. Listen to that. That's perfect shop music right there. And the magical man that composed this music was Shigeru Tomita. And he got his start and was one of the main composers for T&E Soft. Starting off with Laydock series on the MSX, and then did Highlight 2, Daiva Story 6, Super Laydock, Sayo Blade, what else? Harukanaru Augusta, and the last game he did was new 3D golf simulation, Harukanaru Augusta, on the Super Famicom. But one of my favorite facts about this fella is that he designed the FM Pack cartridge for the MSX. And what it is called FM Pana Amusement Cartridge, and it had about 4 sample songs on it. 5 sample songs on it, and my favorite one on that one is Sample 2. And I would highly recommend you go to VGM Rips, download it, look up FM Pana, download it and listen to it, or you can listen to it right there on the site. And it's all just really good. Just a collection of different styles of music, all made using the YM2413 FM sound chip. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Unfortunately, a little shorter than I was hoping for. It's just the songs that I found were pretty short, and yeah, these are the ones that kind of just fit, were the closest to that sound I was looking for. Next time, I won't be looking for that golden standard of the Depa Chica, Konbini, Super Marketo background music. I'm done trying, and if I find music VGM that sounds like that, that's definitely making it on the episodes, but otherwise, it's just gonna be shop themes, whatever it be. And I also regret that this episode may have not been as entertaining as episode 2 shop themes, but, I'm kind of trying to crunch here because I got something special planned for Halloween, and I want to have all the time I can get to work on it, so, yeah. So now here, I'd like to thank you once more for coming into VG Emporium, video game music and more, to, come and listen to this silly fella just talk about VGMs and shop musics and his never-ending quest to find the perfect shop music. And if you wish to follow me on this deranged quest, go ahead and follow me on all of your favorite podcatchers such as Spotify, Apple, Google, Audible, and I'm even on YouTube just posting up the title cards I make with the music behind it. And then if you would like to, see more about your host, your proprietor of this shop, Rage Cage, you can also find me on, the social medias such as Twitter and Instagram, and on SoundCloud where I post all my original music. So now next week is going to be something also shop related, or in this case, I'm fulfilling special orders. So yeah, some of you will be getting a message about your order being, the order being made and coming in. And so look forward to that, you lucky so-and-sos.